In the wake of a horrific tragedy that has rocked Minnesota and shocked the entire nation, public figures and media personalities are speaking out about the rising tide of political violence in America. On a recent episode of The View, Whoopi Goldberg didn't hold back her frustration and heartbreak following the murder of Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman, her husband, and their family dog. The brutal killings, carried out by a masked gunman in what Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz called a politically motivated assassination, have stirred national outrage and reignited the conversation about the toxic state of political discourse in the country. While many expected a show of unity or at least some expression of compassion, former President Donald Trump chose to distance himself from the tragedy, stating that he would not be calling Governor Walz because, in his words, he's a mess. That dismissive attitude didn't sit well with the View's panel, especially Joy Behar, who reminded viewers of Trump's long-standing inability, or unwillingness, to show empathy. Trump is lacking empathy. He doesn't seem to have that gene that would feel sorry for somebody else's pain, Behar said, pointing to the contrast between Trump and former presidents like Bill Clinton, who famously said, "I feel your pain." Behar's point was clear: a leader unwilling to recognize suffering, regardless of political affiliation, falls short of the basic standards of humanity. But Trump wasn't the only Republican figure under fire. Utah Senator Mike Lee sparked even more controversy by posting a photo of the suspected killer, Vance Bolter, and captioning it, "This is what happens when Marxists get their way." That inflammatory and tone-deaf statement stunned many and drew sharp rebuke from Whoopi Goldberg. She called on voters in Utah to hold their senator accountable, saying, "Get rid of him," in response to what she viewed as an unacceptable response to an act of political terrorism. Goldberg then took things a step further by calling out the double standards in how political violence is treated, depending on who the victims are. She referenced the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in the recent past, noting how Democrats, despite political differences, urged calm and avoided placing blame during that sensitive time. "We said, this is not the time to do that," Goldberg recalled. But in this instance, she pointed out, some Republicans are doing exactly what they criticized others for, turning a deadly attack into a political weapon. "You want a better, more peaceful time. You want people to act differently, and here you are showing your ass," she said, clearly exasperated by the hypocrisy. With her signature no-nonsense tone, Goldberg emphasized a basic truth that seems to be lost in today's political chaos. You don't shoot people. Her message was painfully simple, but desperately needed in the current climate. You don't agree with them? Stop listening. Turn off the television. Walk away. You don't take out a gun and take somebody's life. It's not gonna work for us, she said, urging all Americans, regardless of political beliefs, to reject violence as a means of expression. What happened to Representative Hortman and her family is a reminder that the words and actions of public figures matter. When leaders normalize hatred, fan the flames of division, or refuse to condemn acts of violence, they create a dangerous environment where extremism can thrive. Goldberg's emotional appeal wasn't just about holding politicians accountable. It was a call for every American to reflect on what kind of country we want to live in. Are we a nation where disagreement leads to death? Or are we capable of creating a society where dialogue, respect, and humanity triumph over fear and hate? As this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear: silence is no longer an option. Whether you sit on the left or the right, violence has no place in a functioning democracy. We all have a role to play in lowering the temperature, calling out hate when we see it, and demanding more from those who represent us. Because, as Whoopi Goldberg put it, we are better than this.